Peterson fight is when you first brought it up. Had you seen that in other fights, and was it kind of going, incubating in your mind, or was it just watching the Peterson fight when you first saw it?
Look, it's never been that I've seen something just boxing or game. It's not that. I'll remind you, I seen the Kell Brook fight.
Right.
I saw the Peterson fight. It's not that I saw holes in the game. I just know everything that I'm capable of. I know what I can do. I know that I'm a better boxer, and that's why I chose this fight. Because against what everybody else thinks, I know what I'm capable of. If you guys had seen the best out of me, you guys would also be picking me. But you guys still haven't seen the best out of me, and Saturday night you will see.
Why haven't we seen the best of it?
Because I haven't had the opponent to bring it out of me. I've been cruise control with my opponents. Even though I fought some very good champions, undefeated champions, but I make the fight look easy, and people haven't seen the best. This fight will show everybody that I'm much better than they were expecting.
Who do you believe is the most talented opponent, and who gave you the hardest fight that you've had to this point?
That's a tough one. I mean, I had some tougher fights when I was building my career. Lately, I've had some a couple of wins, against top champions, but I've made them, look easy. But that's because I'm making them. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like I said, I had some tough fights developing, some tough opponents, but nothing that comes to mind.
Hey, Mikey, this is going to be your first pay-per-view, and I just wanted your take on how you feel like you've ascended to the position where you can be involved on pay-per-view in a major fight.
Well, I mean, this type of fight deserves to be here, and there's no other venue for it, than the AT&T Stadium. A fight like this doesn't come often. I keep telling people, make sure they watch this, because when you get two undefeated pound-for-pound fighters, champions facing each other, in their primes, it's not very often that happens. So it definitely deserves this. Definitely deserves all the attention, all the coverage, and when it comes to the pay-per-view, me being that it's my first pay-per-view, it's just it's very special to be here, but I don't let that affect me in any way. I'm focused on winning this fight, did all my work necessary to win this fight. But it definitely does need to be on pay-per-view, because a fight like this can't be anywhere else.
Are you excited to have your first ever pay-per-view event?
Well, yes, we're excited, that we made it to this platform, to this level. Other fights can be on pay-per-view because they just don't bring the same attention. But this type of fight definitely needs to be on pay-per-view, because it's one of the fights that don't come very often.
So I asked Errol what he thought would constitute a successful pay-per-view. Pacquiao, Mayweather at crazy numbers being the ultimate, and others that just die and nobody watches. What would make you happy if you saw the numbers come in?
Look, I don't have an exact figure right now.
He said a couple 100,000.
Yeah, look, when we go back to the earlier pay-per-view days, the record by I think it was Tyson was 1 million, and that was in the 90s, right? No other pay-per-view would ever get close to that. But all of a sudden, with the Mayweather fights and the Pacquiao fights, everybody tries to measure up to that and reach the million, and that's the only successful pay-per-view. That's not the way it works. If you get 200,000-300,000 pay-per-view, back then it used to be a success. Now it seems like it wasn't a success if someone gets 200,000.
But you'd be happy with that?
I would love 1 million.
Well, sure.
I would love 1 million. But it's also the first event that we do on a pay-per-view, so you got to build up a little bit more. So your first pay-per-view, if it doesn't reach, the million, it's okay. There's a lot more that goes into it. Like I said, I understand a little more about it, and it's hard to compare with some of the other pay-per-view that have done great, like the Pacquiao and Mayweather. You can't really do that. It's not fair for either me or Errol to be comparing, to someone like Mayweather and Pacquiao, who've constantly been doing that, pay-per-view numbers like that.
Mikey, you've been talking about legacy. Kevin, Dan, and Lance have been talking about EJ being the next great superstar in boxing for a long time. The former Olympian. You've been fighting, it seems like, forever, and been at the top of your game besides the 2-year hiatus with your contract. Is that part of it? Is that you're seeing a guy like EJ on the rise, getting the accolades, kind of been touted as the face of boxing, that you feel like you've been maybe slighted, even though you're still one of the top fighters in the world?
Look, he has all the looks, the accolades, to be a big star, and he is a star. But I see a big challenge, by moving up in weight, by challenging him, in his prime. That's what motivates me. That's what excited me most about this fight, and that's why I chose him over other champions. I don't want to fight a guy who's just a former champion at welterweight, or a guy who moved up in weight and wasn't really at the best of his prime anymore at welterweight. I want to go after the best, and he is the best right now, and that's why I chose him. I took a hiatus. I was out for two and a half years, and that's just part of what happened with my career. But I made it a goal that when I came back, I was going to be better than ever, and I've proven that every single fight. Every single fight after my return has been better than the last, bigger challenge than the last, and that's what I'm about. I want to add to that legacy. I want to add to the history, and these are the type of fights that will allow me to do that.
Mikey, you talked about this fight being a legacy fight before your legacy. What happens to the legacy of the fighter who doesn't win this fight?
Look, it's a fight that will give me the legacy that I want, the history that I want. It will forever be remembered as one of those fights. When you mention some of the greatest who have ever done it, everybody talks about the Ali, the Sugar Ray, the Duran, the Hagler. Those names are always included. Mayweather, Pacquiao in most recent times. You're gonna talk about Garcia. If that's what this fight does, and that's why I chose this fight, because this fight does that for me. A loss obviously would hurt me. I wouldn't want to lose, and I don't think Errol wants to lose either. So neither one of us is thinking about losing, but that's what makes this fight such a better fight.
Before he said that this fight is going to be a one-sided massacre, you guys were kind of going back and forth, and I thought it was interesting because I was thinking, does he know who he's dealing with? Was someone who was raised on like the hard streets of Oxnard, who's dealt with that type of back and forth over and over? When you talk about taking this fight to the streets, can you talk about why that's to your advantage?
He's changed his opinion a few occasions. Maybe just the wording. I don't know what it is, but at first he had said it was going to be an early fight a few weeks ago when we did the face-off. Then he changed his opinion soon after that. Right now he said it was, he was ready to go 12 rounds, he was ready, but then, like I said, maybe the exchange of words might have changed his attitude, and he said it was going to be a quick knockout, and he was ready to knock me out. I don't know. A lot of things might be going around his head right now. I know I'm ready to do whatever it takes to win. We did all the work in the gym. All my training camp was a success, and I'm ready to do whatever it takes to win this fight. There's nobody that's gonna tell me, how I'm gonna be fighting. That my brother, my dad haven't already told me how to do this. There's no experience that I haven't already gained from my dad and my brother. And being that we come from a humble background, rough streets. The attitude is there, the heart is there. My heart's in it. I'm just ready to do what I got to do on Saturday night and win this fight.
Mikey, they have Roberto Duran is here, helping you guys promote the fight. People have made the point that when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, he had been lightweight champion and he went up and won the welterweight title in their first fight. I saw you guys talking a little bit. Has he said anything to you when you've been around him during this, or you asked him about that?
I told him it was a pleasure, an honor to meet him. I had never met him. And he said it was a pleasure for him to meet me. And I told him, really? And he says, yes, I really follow you. So he was a fan of mine. I had no idea. So I kept talking to him like, wow. So
that was today?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, just there, right there.
Yeah, just right now. And he says, yes, I follow your career. And his son's here too. And so I'm like, wow, I had no idea. That's amazing that.
You were a fan of his?
Yeah, of course. So it's just, it's just one of those things where it's like, I look up to you, and all of a sudden now you're following me.
But you're trying to do what he did 30 years ago.
Well, I'm trying to make my own history. That feat is accomplished by doing what he did. So that'd be pretty cool if I can,
he won.
do that and be included in that small list of names. That'd be special.
Mike, last question,
Go ahead, Keith.
Okay.
I'm not saying there's not pressure on you. Obviously, you're undefeated and there's a lot at stake for you also. But do you feel that there's more pressure on him and that could benefit you in the sense he's in his hometown fighting at Cowboy Stadium as a Cowboys fan growing up? Do you feel there's more pressure on him that could help you?
Look, I don't know if he's feeling the pressure. I'm pretty comfortable. No matter where we fight or or who I'm fighting, I'm always pretty comfortable. He seems to be pretty comfortable all the time, just like he says. But being that it's a big fight, it's a big arena like this, a stadium here, his hometown crowd, he might be feeling it. I don't know. You probably have to ask him. I feel comfortable. I'm excited. I'm glad that we can get this fight. Like I said, it's the fight that's gonna let me, add to that legacy and leave my name, in the history books.